company owner. And anything any of us, Daryl Festa, myself, Ben, anything we can do, please let us know. I spend a lot of time on the phone, as I believe Daryl does, trying to help people with problem homes, problems with what to order, things like that. And that's kind of our mission, so to speak. Uh, so we're both Daryl and I came from the mitigation world. I held Illinois' oldest license and did mitigation for many, many years, and so that puts us in a little bit of an advantage. I believe we both have been there, and uh, I got to tell you, I ended up selling that portion of my business to my foreman that had been with me 15 years, and it was just a natural succession. But I couldn't be happier not to be own a mitigation company. Holy cow, was that a weight off my shoulders? And it gave me more time to concentrate on distribution and manufacturing. But being a radon mitigation company owner is very time consuming. Very time
Yeah,
consuming.
I always say there are a lot easier ways to make money. You know,
Yeah.
people that do radon aren't doing it solely because of money, you know, because there's easier ways. It's people that have a passion for it and care about what they do and believe in what they do. And I always say there's an innate nobility in being a radon professional because you literally have the potential to save lives every day that you go out there. And I have just you know, I came from that world too. I started out in 1996 as a radon mitigation professional. And so I know what it's like. I know the challenges, I know what they deal with. And so for me now as a manufacturer, it's all about the customer. You know, it's every decision that we make really tries to consider the customer. We don't make decisions based on money or path of least resistance. It's what are the implications going to be for our customers, and are we helping them or hurting them?
Absolutely. When I get new, especially new professionals coming into this industry, my first piece of advice to them is put that customer first. I mean, that's a saying that needs to be taken seriously. But if you build your company off of quality and making sure that customer gets everything, I literally hate the line of doing as if it's your own home, but that's actually true. You have to approach the industry that way, in my opinion, to have long lasting success.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, I think, Ben, we got there where Daryl can talk
Yep,
about those fans a little bit.
we are. If you're watching over on Facebook, I'm sorry you're looking at me. I'm trying to make it so you can see Daryl, but you should be able to hear. But yeah, I'm working on getting it so you're not just looking at me.
Yeah, and so and I'll say I'm super open to questions. If someone has a question, if there's ability to ask them and have me answer them, I want to make sure I cover the things that interest people the most. And so I'll start and tell you kind of what my plan is, and then you know we can take it from there. And so I want to talk about two things. The first thing is that there's been kind of a seismic change to the radon fan requirements. It's the biggest deal that manufacturers have faced in the period of time that I've done this, and how we responded and the solution that we came up with for our customers, which I'm very proud of considering how unbelievably challenging this was. And so about 2 years ago, in 2022, um, the UL 507 standard had a new requirement written into it that was requiring a secondary thermal protection in the motors of fans that are in unattended areas. And so unattended areas are where they're not accessible in a suspended ceiling, in an attic, somewhere where they're not easily accessible or seen frequently. And so all fans or all motors have a thermal protector in them that if they get too hot or if they became impeded from running, it would shut them off and turn them back on. And they arrived at the point, and a lot of people have theories on what brought them there. Some have suggested, you know, Chinese motors coming into the United States that didn't have the same standards or the same safety that we had, and they wanted to compensate for that. And so they required a secondary thermal protection to be installed in the motor. Um, motor companies really, really, really struggled to achieve that. Over 2 years, there was difficulty in anybody finding a way to accomplish what they were looking for. And so the next thing that really happened is UL came up with what they defined as an alternate pathway. And the alternate pathway was you could take your existing motors, and what they ended up doing was prematurely aging them. They put them in an oven for, I believe, 16 weeks, and they simulated them having been in an attic for many, many years so that the oven made them appear as an old motorized impeller. And then they did what was called a locked rotor test. And so they would impede that motor from spinning. And you would have to provide 14 samples of those motors that could be aged and have the rotors locked. They would wrap them in cotton and run them until fail. And they couldn't catch fire or burn in any way. Motor companies had an incredibly difficult, if not impossible time, having to meet that standard. And so throughout this time, we as a company had already been aggressively pursuing an EC product line. EC motorized impellers are the latest, greatest technology in motors. They're electronically commutated motors. They're run through electronics. They're magnetic brushless motors, and they're incredibly sophisticated. And so what they provide is the best of everything. Best performance, best energy consumption characteristics, longevity, safety. And these are motorized impellers that were exempt from this new standard. They have enough safety built in through sensors that they don't require a secondary thermal protection. And so EC motors and DC motors were exempt from that. And so the obvious solution to us, because this is the future of where motors are going anywhere, I believe that this change to the UL standard was the first shot fired to try to bring the industry and bring all industries towards using this more sophisticated, more energy efficient solution. And so we accelerated our introduction of an EC product line. And so we took every one of our existing AC fans and we built a sister in EC. And what our very strong goal or objective to do in that was to make EC technology affordable. So we wanted it to be accessible to mitigators to use and take advantage of all the benefits. Using a motorized impeller that will use 40% less energy and dramatically impact the electrical bills of the customer that has a radon fan. Dealing with sound complaints often on radon systems, they're much quieter than a typical fan. And so we were able to introduce, for example, our Maverick equivalent in EC, which would be equivalent to, let's say, a Fantech RN2 EC at about $100 less than what they were charging. So we're giving you identical technology, an EBM EC motorized impeller made in Germany at substantially. And so we've just launched an introduction of our Maverick EC, Hawk EC, Prowler EC, Legend EC to accompany our Eagle Extreme and Legend Extreme fans. And so one of the things I'm saying to the radon professionals we work with is this is where things are going. And I would really strongly encourage you to build this technology into your business now. It's what you're going to end up using. I would estimate probably in the next 2 years, you will see a transfer of technology to this, whether it's regulations that bring us there, or more likely manufacturing companies of motorized impellers just phasing out antiquated AC technology and switching it to the EC technology, which is where the world is taking us. The other thing that we did to accompany this was we worked very closely with Intertech, who's our nationally recognized testing lab that certifies all of our fans. And we said we would like to continue to make available our entire AC product line, and we would propose labeling them not attended for unattended areas. And so for the 85% of radon systems that are typically installed throughout the United States that are outdoors, there's no reason to take this technology that we have and eliminate that as an option for our customers. And so over a period of months, we worked very closely with Intertech. And in spite of what some people might be implying, we are fully certified for both our EC product line, and our AC product line is fully certified for the applications that are the majority of what people install. And so I have one on my desk. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to show you, but we have a new label on the front, and then we have our ETL label on the top showing that it's fully certified through Intertech Labs. And so there's no need for anyone to wonder that we've successfully accomplished the ability to have two distinct lines of radon fans available to all of our customers. It was even suggested that radon fans being outdoors was an unattended area as well. And so I actually printed out just a really brief description, and it says fan products which are built within the building structure are unattended areas. As I suggested, fans that are in suspended ceilings. Outdoors is clearly not an unattended area. People are outdoors every day. Your neighbor can see your radon system. People driving by can see your radon system. The pool cleaner can see your radon system, and they're very easily accessible. And so the suggestion that outdoors is an unattended area is not as per what the standard says, and it's not to the interpretation of Intertech that successfully certified our fans. And so that has been our approach to the unattended areas. One of the questions that we've gotten, because a competitor of ours has used the route of having fuses put into the radon fans to achieve the new certification. And we had that same option. We were approached with that option. And in all of the time in talking with our experts, the motor companies, it was strongly suggested to us not to pursue that. In fact, our motor company called it a terrible solution. And one of the reasons that was explained to us, and all I can do is convey what was shared with us and what brought us to our decision, right, is that you're taking a, by definition, fatal device. And so a fuse, when enacted, it's fatal. It stops everything. And they were saying taking a fatal device and inserting it in existing technology without any predictor of how it's going to behave. It hasn't been installed in hot attics for months or years. It hasn't been in a Minnesota winter outside for months or years. And so in testing, what our motor contacts told us is that safety was not an issue. And so I certainly am not going to apply that at all, because it wouldn't have cleared Intertech if fuses weren't a safe solution to this. What we were told is that reliability and predictability were the huge concerns. And so we were unwilling to put something into our fans that could potentially cause our customers tremendous problems in the future. Service calls, fan failures, results in fuses going and not knowing that was going to happen. And so our motor manufacturer had grave concerns at this stage that was a viable solution, and they strongly cautioned us against going that route. That being said, it was strongly preferable to us anyway to go with the newest and latest, greatest technology, because it's the future of the fans anyway. The performance is just absolutely outstanding. The energy consumption of these motors versus a similar motor is just substantial. And so we felt it important to, one, make our existing fans available, our AC line, for outdoor installations in basements in Canada without increasing the cost of them at all or introducing something new to that fan, and allowing them access to the newest technology that already addressed the safety concerns that were what triggered the new standard through UL and Intertech. And so that's what we've been working on for many, 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 many months. And I can say that it's been stressful and challenging and pressed us, but everything that we did was in the best interest of our customers, and we're pretty thrilled with the outcome.
Does everyone kind of understand what Daryl's saying there? In other words, they were able to get two files. One file kept the existing fan for most of your installations not being in attics. The second file uh, was achieved for the newer technology that would be approved for anything, for any installation, including an attic. But it's important that everybody understand the existing fan is still available for uh, for any installation except an attic. The new fan is available for any installation, period, including an attic.
I think that's a great way to explain it because what you just said is exactly what was necessary to occur. And so with Intertech, we actually had to split our file in two, and so we now have two independent Intertech files, one for our AC product line and one for our EC and DC product line. And so it specifically differentiates those two uses. The other thing that I want to make really clear to people is that um, the AC fans that you're getting are the same fans that you've always gotten, right? And so there's been no changes to these fans at all, other than this new required label on our part. So the AC fans that we're selling didn't suddenly become unsafe for attic installations. It's just a new requirement that's been put into place. And so we get that question. People say, are they unsafe, or do I have to worry about the ones that I've already installed or anything like that? And it's interesting because we worked closely with EBM in this really comprehensive strategy. And we have a tremendous working relationship with them. And their owner or their vice president of engineering said, we've been selling motorized impellers for 40 or 50 years. We've never had an attic fire resulting from one of our impellers ever. And EBM is the largest small motor manufacturer in the world. I think they sell in 2008, back when I partnered with them, they sold over 100 million motors a year. And now it's probably 250 million motors a year. And, they've sold them without incident. But this is something that we deal with as a manufacturer, that, electrical safety certification can come up with a new standard or a significant challenge. And it really, really complicates the lives of people like ourselves, because we don't manufacture motorized impellers. We manufacture radon fans, and we're relying on them coming up with a solution. And very large companies like Brown-Newtone, EBM, were incredibly challenged to come up with a viable solution to secondary thermal protection the way that it was initially laid out. And we feel incredibly fortunate that we were working on EC technology and building what we thought was the line of the future, that we brought just at a faster pace than what we anticipated. And so these are things that happen in the life of a manufacturer, and this is how we addressed it. It was an extraordinary amount of work to get here, but I think it is the best solution for our customers who are interested in stability and reliability, and nothing new introduced into their business that could be a potential complication. And so I don't know, Ben, if I'm having a hard time paying attention to the questions. If you want to shout them out to me and let me know. I just saw one that passed by, said, are there any changes to the housings? And there won't be any changes to the housings. That's a complicated question to answer. Nothing will be different than the extreme fans, and actually some of them have been actually brought down in height a little bit to enhance the performance, but nothing notable that you'll see as far as changes to the way that these fans look or their appearance. They're gonna resemble our full line of radar fans as we have them today.
Daryl, with EC technology being the future and you having that knowledge, it's something you'd been working on before this standard got changed, correct?
Oh, absolutely. And so our Legend Extreme and Eagle Extreme, the Eagle Extreme was our first introduction of EC technology, right? And everyone has seen the tremendous performance that you get out of the extreme fans that we introduced. But we wanted to be the market leader in a comprehensive line. And so, companies have one EC line or one EC product or two EC products. We wanted to be able to solve all of the radon issues throughout the gamut with a comprehensive line of EC fans. We've worked with EBM to build in resiliency that affords us the opportunity to offer a 7-year warranty on our EC line. And so it's going to have a 40% longer warranty than any fans that have ever been offered in the radon industry. We have plans that you're going to continue to see an evolution of this product line. You're going to see an introduction of even more units. And in the next few months, you will see that we have our entire line, a second offering that's going to have full speed controllability. And so we will have a standard normal EC fan that you install like a regular fan, and it runs where it comfortably runs. And it's going to have a counterpart that's going to have a potentiometer in the terminal box that'll allow somebody to dial in the performance of that fan exactly where they want it. I've had the conversation with David many times. I'm one of the old school guys that would allow the fan to run where it comfortably runs and maximizes its potential. But all of these considerations for energy and sound and airflow, we're getting a lot more sophisticated group of radon professionals that want that ability. And the really cool thing that we're offering is our potentiometer isn't going to be used with a screwdriver and adjusted that way. It's going to have an actual dial that has 10 increments on it, and you can move that dial easily with your fingers and set that fan wherever you like. And so we will have our Maverick EC, and we'll have our Maverick EC SC, which is speed controllable. And so not only are we going to have a comprehensive line of EC fans, we're going to have a comprehensive line of EC fans with a second offering that has them all available with speed control function as well.
Daryl, two of the questions that popped up, one was about the Spirit, and another one was about spec sheets. And I think I missed one in the middle, but that's two of them that have popped up.
Right. So we will have an offering of the Spirit EC. The thing that I think will become really clear is that the performance that you can get out of an EC and the power consumption that it has, it almost eliminates the need for a fan that starts out. I mean, we'll be able to produce a fan that, pulls 2 inches of pressure like a Maverick with a maximum energy consumption of 26 watts. You can have a fan that has a performance of an Eagle, can pull 4 inches and consumes maximum of 63 or 64 watts. And so, the ability to dial them in, what we want to do is have people not have to use an extremely powerful fan and dial it way back. We want to have the full gamut of fans. And, I made the choice way back when we introduced the Eagle Extreme and Legend Extreme that the value was in the performance. When we were going to have a super high performance fan to complement our AC line, it didn't make sense to have speed controllability. Well, we've evolved in our thinking that we want to provide all of the options that our industry demands. For example, in Canada, I don't know if there's anyone from Canada on this call, super sensitive and aware of energy consumption. And the other thing that I learned about Canada was with the fans being inside, noise is a totally different consideration than if the fan's sitting outside or in an attic. And so oftentimes they'll adjust the speed of the fan, not so much for energy, which is an issue for them, but it's merely to accommodate sound preferences and things like that.
Here's someone. I'm concerned about having the controller easily accessible as it could impact our radon level.
So the speed control is inside the terminal box, right? It is not accessible unless the terminal box lid is removed. I don't know of a better way. So it's not an external device that somebody can play around with, but sure understand that if there's a homeowner that's aware that it's there and they're the curious type, they might want to experiment with it. I think that would be an education of the consumer saying, if you go and you experiment with the speed control, it is going to have or could very well have an impact on your radon levels, and we would discourage you from doing that. If you have some questions about that, uh, I think you should work through your radon professional to do that experimenting and make sure that you arrive at a level that both accommodates what you're looking to accomplish, and most importantly, has your radon levels as low as you can possibly get them.
Uh, these are the next question from Avery. Avery to everyone. Units manufactured after November are affected.
Right. So the date for the new standard was November 27th, right? And so that means everything manufactured November 27th or later had to have this accommodation, whether you were putting fuses in them or whether you were labeling them differently or whether you were selling EC, whatever the case was, that was the date. And so what most manufacturers did, I would assume, I know that the companies that I deal with that aren't in radon, that make motors and make other types of fans, most of us worked really hard to build up a transition stock or a safety stock to allow us time to introduce our solutions. And so that's what we did. And so we built quite a few fans in advance of the November 27th date to afford us the time to do it properly and introduce these fans when we were ready and had the opportunity to kind of inform our customers of what we were doing.
And real quick, I had a private message. I think they just responded to me earlier. What is the airflow performance compared on the non-EC fans? Is there an Eagle version or one in the works?
So there is an Eagle version in the works, and we found an excellent solution, energy-wise, performance-wise, that will be our Eagle fan. And what you're going to find characteristically in these fans in general is that they're going to have higher suction capability and higher airflow capabilities than a similar AC version, and they're going to accomplish that while using less energy. So in almost every case, you're going to see enhanced performance while using less energy, and that's really why things are being pushed this way. The best example that I've had in explaining this to people is I remember many years ago where in cordless power tools, they came out with brushless motors and cordless power tools, and they told you all the reasons why they were so much better. And some people bought them because they wanted the best of the best, and other people continued to use, the old power tools. Well, they don't exist anymore. All power tools, cordless power tools today use brushless motors. And so that's what this EC technology is. Companies like EBM, which is a $2.5 billion company, they're pushing all of their manufacture leading towards a date when they're going to only manufacture EC technology. It's necessarily where things are going for a whole variety of reasons. But, globally, we're looking at energy consumption totally different than we have in the past. They're now starting to scrutinize noise generated by products like this. And so I think they start by gently trying to push you in that direction. And then eventually you get shoved that everyone has to adopt it. And so we wanted to be proactive and make this available to everybody while it's still their choice. I'm not hearing you, Ben.
The answer is yes. The answer is yes. If that fan that you're installing was manufactured previous to November 27th, it would still be legal for an attic as is. Correct, Daryl?
That's 100% correct.
Sorry, my mic was off. Yeah, that is the question. So if you've got a stock of AC fans, you might be you might choose where you put, if you're going to buy some EC ones, or depending on how you're going to use them.
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. And what I would tell people is we've been very intentional in how we went about doing this. And again, our interest is always in both helping and protecting our customers and making sure that they're compliant, and not only compliant, but with the best solution that isn't going to compromise their business or cause them difficulties or challenges in the future. And sometimes these pose, I think a lot of people want things just to stay the way that it is, and that would be nice. That's just not the world we live in as far as a manufacturer's life. But I think everyone's going to be really well served in the long term to implement this, and it's going to solve a lot of the challenges that we encounter daily that we've just become used to. Complaints about how noisy the
Well, now
fan
you're telling me
is.
I got to carry another fan in my trailer or my truck or my van. So now you're telling me I have to carry another fan, and I'm like, well, you don't have to if you switch to EC totally. But yes, that is true. I think one of my questions will be then, Daryl, if I'm a mitigator and I'm having to carry another fan so that I can accommodate that job that's going to be an attic job, is the box going to be marked?
It is going to be marked. And so all
Good,
these
good.
boxes are going to say the model followed by an EC.
Excellent,
And,
excellent.
and
Because
I I certainly understand that, right? As a concern. I think the good news is, and my answer to this certainly isn't universal, but if you take the typical attic install, right? Um, those generally fall under the category of where you would be using a Maverick, right? And so it's not like you would, in all likelihood, be carrying an entire range of EC fans on the truck. If you elect, as you had said, to stay with the AC line and you stock a few of the EC Mavericks, then that should suffice. And you're not having one half of your van is AC and one half of your fan is EC. Again, it's not lost on me that no matter what somebody chooses, there's going to be challenges and decisions to make. I think that there are so many advantages to EC, and I think that that's where we're headed anyway. And I think that there's ability to sell those advantages that many people um, will probably find themselves really
I
loving
agree.
the technology and naturally making that switch just for all the benefits that it offers. And so, I think it's one of those things where it's not going to be overnight for many, but they'll find themselves, it will evolve, and that's where they'll find their business going, and they'll like the solution so much, and it eliminates some of the earlier concerns that I talked about, that they'll find themselves that now they're a company that installs EC technology on all their systems.
And as you might think, Daryl, there have been three requests to know the approximate price differences.
What's that?
There's been requests to know the price differences.
So we did send out
Correct.
pricing to everybody. And
Yes.
so um, you know, I wish I had it in front of me. And I'm
Well, I kind of do, Daryl. I mean, basically, it's $50 to $60 per fan.
right. And
That's
so this is the way that I view it. And I know that somebody can make a counter argument, but I would argue, would somebody pay $50 to $60 for 2 additional years of warranty on their radon fan? So you said I can extend your warranty to 7 years for an additional 50 or $60. And then you add in the fact that it's quieter, that it's safer, that it's going to last longer, and that it's probably going to cut their electrical bill as relates to the radon fan by 40% a year. And very quickly it becomes a no-brainer. Now, I also understand that many of us are dealing with real estate, and they say nobody's going to care, right? They just want the cheapest solution possible. And that's 100% right. I get that. The couple things that I've suggested are that, one, I think that some people, right, are going to go with easy technology that they wouldn't have won their business otherwise. And so I think there's a whole group of bids that you're going to do, that you're going to win those bids because you offer the EC technology, whereas the ones you might lose over cost. The other one is, some people have told me, I don't know if it's going to be an attic install or a outdoor install until I get to the house, right? And I get that. The other thing someone can consider doing understanding that every house is different. You can propose it as an outdoor install, or you can have an upcharge like many people did way back in the day when I was installing. If you had a house that wasn't plumbed by the builder and someone wanted it run through the house and you're going through closets and things like that, there was an upcharge. You can say, this is my cost for an outdoor install. This is my cost to route it through the house and utilize this EC technology, and bid it two separate ways and give the option. But I think that there are by far enough advantages to this and where this is going that the newness might be a little bit to adjust to, but when people settle into this idea, I think it's going to get comfortable very quickly.
I need a semi-load of fans next week as a distributor. It's really difficult to figure out what you guys want.
We had a couple things. Obviously, we heard somebody asking about spec sheets, if those are available, and that would also. I know Jim Dunn was asking about the noise rating information on fans, whether it's decibels or frequency. If you have that,
right. So right now, we're expecting this week to have final performance numbers, fan curves for each one of these new fans, as well as sound levels. And so what we're going to do is two things. We'll send those out via constant contact, like we've been doing with everyone else, to keep people apprised of the information. And then we're going to send out a card, a 8.5 by 11 card that has our AC line on one side, our EC line on the other side, with all the performance specs and data and pricing. And then our intention is within the next couple of months to send out our new catalog. And we're waiting so that our new catalog can contain the speed controllable versions as well. And so all this information will be available very quickly. What we're telling people now, that the performance is close enough to the existing Maverick, Hawk, Legend, Prowler, that you can naturally buy those, understanding you're going to get some enhancement in the performance over what you're used to.
We did have someone ask any changes to the electrical connections on those.
So they will wire exactly the same way as they're accustomed to wiring them. And so the people that are used to wiring, virtually everyone out there at one time or another has used one of our Extreme fans, the Legend Extreme or the Eagle Extreme, which are super popular. No different than those.
I'm not sure if you answered
Scott.
Did you mention if the Spirit is going to EC?
So we will have a Spirit version as well.
Okay.
So not only are we going to have those fans, but we're going to be introducing some new models as well. And so you're going to see a really substantial offering of EC technology coming from Festa in the coming months.
Daryl, I have a question.
Sure.
You hear, I don't know what this language means, but I hear the word Energy Star certified. Is that something that you will seek on any of the fans, to be Energy Star certified?
Yeah, so you really opened up a can of worms with that question. So let me share my thoughts on Energy Star. And we were Energy Star very many years ago. And a lot of people have the misconception that Energy Star, something is built to it, right? So you're built to Energy Star standards. And that's really not what it is. It's wattage divided by airflow. And so you take the fan's airflow and the wattage, and you do the calculation, and you qualify or you don't, right? And so it's not that fan uses less energy than another fan. It's just that fan, when you take its airflow versus its energy, it qualifies. And what I would argue is that probably any EC fan would qualify for Energy Star markings. The other thing that really got me about Energy Star back in the day, especially when it related to AC technology, is that you have to join an Energy Star related testing company like AMCA or HVI. Okay, so you have to have a membership, and back in the day it was like $4,000 for the membership, and then you had to have them test every one of your fans. So even if you knew it wouldn't pass Energy Star, you had to have that fan tested for performance characteristics. And it was like $2,500 a fan. And then you had to pay them a percentage of your sales of every fan that you sold. So quarterly, you had to report, I sold this many of this fan, and they had to get a percentage of that. So back in the day, and this was many years ago, it would have been like $78,000 a year for me to be able to put an Energy Star sticker on 3 of our fans. And it didn't mean anything. So at that point, I said, I'm not doing that. But we very, very rarely get the question from our customers, is it Energy Star, or seeking out or searching for Energy Star? If it became something compelling to them, we would certainly look into it. And we're positioned certainly differently than we were back in the day as far as a fan manufacturing company. And so it's something that we could explore. But yeah, Energy Star is not what most people think that it is. And that's not even to disparage it. It's just that I always viewed it as you build it in a certain way to achieve it. And it wasn't. It was a formula for qualification.
Thanks, Dave, for opening a can of worms, right?
Yeah, right. Did we miss a question while we were chatting there?
No, it just had one pop in, and someone was asking about the warranties. How are you going to deal with your existing fan warranty? If I've got a fan in an attic and it fails, will it be replaced with an EC fan so it's compliant?
That's a good question. And we've had some initial discussions about that. We will make a formal announcement on how we're going to handle that. But our interest is always try to satisfy the interest of the customer. The challenge we would have, and this is one of the obstacles, is how will we know that fan was in an attic, right? And so you could have maybe someone who's less scrupulous, and maybe we're not saying any of our customers are, but you could take a regular fan that was outside and exchange it for a fan that costs more on a pretty consistent regular basis. And so the challenge is, how do you identify and prove out which fan was in an attic and which fan was outside? That's a little bit of a challenge, but like everything else, we'll work it out for our customer and for what's in their best interest. But that's a really astute question. Obviously, that's something that we all have to think about and consider the best way to address it.
I'm watching for messages over on Facebook. If you are on Facebook, feel free to throw something in the chat, and I'll put it over this way. We've got a handful of people watching us live over there. Some people that are watching us on the YouTube channel as well. This does occasionally pop up for people on the YouTube channel who, because it has radon in the title, they don't know anything about it. I saw a comment come in that said, "Is this a good time to test for radon? I don't have a mitigation system." So I would say that all of the 50 or so of us watching this right now, yes, now is the exact time to test for radon in your home. If you have not tested, please test. Please do that right away.
Well, I see someone asked if they're available now, and they are absolutely available now. So we're fully stocked on EC fans. We're fully stocked on AC fans. We're going to have an uninterrupted supply of those for our customers. Someone made a nice comment that it was informative, and like I said, I'm a little bit under the weather, but this is something that I've become intimately familiar with over the past couple of years, and really the past 6 months, full speed to come up with the best solution and protecting our customers and protecting their mitigation businesses, because we really don't take lightly how much people invest in us and rely on us. And without our customers, without radon professionals, no one else is needed. We talk about that a lot, but it really drives people like me and like David, in that there would be no use for standards committees or testers or inspectors or anybody if there weren't people to go and put the radon systems in the houses. I'll just make a side comment. There was a post on Facebook, and someone, it wasn't even related, but they said, don't use this company. They don't work in inclement weather. And I said, um, I'm sure I don't, I had to respond. I said, I don't speak for everybody, but I sell to radon professionals all over the country. And I said, these guys work in some of the harshest conditions. I said, now, if the weather's unsafe, maybe someone will install a system, or if someone doesn't want a contractor coming in and out of their home when it's frigidly cold. But these guys work really, really hard under some of the worst conditions. For the vast majority of people, that is not a fair comment. As I said, there's a lot easier ways to make money than investing yourself in being a radon professional. There has to be far more to it in someone's heart to choose this as their pathway. And so I'll be there to defend radon mitigators, every day of the week. But yeah, I'm not sure what started that, but yeah, I'm interested. And I think there were a couple more questions, David. But what are your thoughts on the EC technology?
Well, first of all, Daryl spent a minute talking about availability, and it sounds like several people are getting pretty excited based on this presentation. And just as a side note, if you need some EC fans, Daryl's got them. I will have my first shipment early next week, Tuesday at the latest. So we're getting our first semi load of them early next week. Daryl has them. So if anybody needs them and they happen to buy from me, but they want one yesterday, they can sure call Daryl. We will have them
Well,
next week.
this, you know what, David, this is what we'll do. If your customers want EC fans, have them place the order through you, and we'll drop ship it for you.
Okay, that
Yeah,
sounds good.
and so they continue to work with you and order through you, and we're, as you know, always more than happy to drop ship them. And while your truckload's making its way to Illinois, we'll have them, heading out towards them via FedEx. So that's an easy one to solve. But I really think, just based on becoming intimately familiar with these myself, over the last few years, and really becoming educated and talking to people like EBM that are so excited about this, and make the compelling case where, I'll tell you, I was talking to another motor manufacturer, and this motor manufacturer did not have EC fans. They motorized propellers. They made only currently AC fans, and he was traveling to their headquarters that was in Europe. And he said he was going to ask them, do you have plans for EC fans, or are we going to be out of business in 2 years? And so their vice president of sales was concerned that they were so far behind, and if we didn't introduce it soon, we weren't going to have a company, because this is where things are going. And that's generally what happens. It's where things start moving in a direction, and a whole series of factors are the tipping point, whether the government, puts such stringent considerations in that you're boxed in and you don't have an alternative, or, just better technology becomes available, and people that manufacture that necessarily phase out of one into the next phase of what's better. That's, it happens in cars and all kinds of other things. They evolve. And, we believe that we're at the forefront of the evolution of the radon fan and the radon fan market, with where we're being driven. And we're excited that we can be the first ones to really offer it to the radon community.
Excellent. Avery just made a comment to everyone to understand there's no price increase in the AC fans.
Yeah. Thank you, Avery, for jumping in the chat there and answering some of these questions as they're coming in.
Well, yeah, and so I want to just speak to that was very intentional, right? So we didn't want to unnecessarily make a change to those fans that could impact reliability or any of those things. And we certainly didn't want to unnecessarily increase the cost. And so we were very intentional and deliberate in our approach to this strategy. And I have nothing but praise for Intertech, who is our electrical safety certification body. It was a lengthy process, but they helped us navigate it to produce the desired result that we wanted for our customers. And so, you know, the two-pronged approach that we had, at least affording our customers to have AC technology while they become acclimated and understand EC, and everyone needs time to get comfortable. And so that was our goal. And we will always provide our customers, if it's within our power, to the things that they want and need to make their businesses run as well as they possibly can.
There was a little bit of a question, I think it was from Jim Dunn. What made you so confident uh, to initiate a 7-year warranty? In other words, was there some kind of a testing cycle, or what was the information you had that make you so confident in these fans that you believe a 40% additional warranty is applicable to the new product?
Right. So it's a great question. And the answer is, we worked with EBM to put protections into the motor that would solve the most common reasons for failure. And so the internals of the motor of this fan, the bearings, the windings, are completely isolated from dirt and water.
And I should add, Daryl, if I'm not wrong, this is exclusive to Festa.
This protection, well,
Yes.
the warranty is exclusive to Festa. We've been carving out and working, you know, one of the things that I'm so excited about is EBM has been fully on board as a true partner, and they want to be the motorized impeller company that leads the radon industry. And so they want EC technology through Festa fans to take over. And so they have been, to have a company so large, a $2.5 billion company, so attentive and so interested in helping us come up with the very best solutions, and so invested in having this go well, not just for us, but for our customers, has been incredible. And so we've worked very, very closely with them on this strategy. They've been in lockstep with us. I talked a little bit earlier about what options were out there, which ones we chose and which ones we excluded. And, the ones that we elected not to do was based on advice from people that we respected tremendously. And if someone said, this is not a good solution, I wouldn't do this. We have great concerns about it impacting your customer base. We took that to heart. We weren't interested in taking on unfair risk for our customers and their businesses. And so we relied, again, EBM manufactures motorized impellers. They make, 250 million different motors a year. They have incredible engineering departments, and they decided to partner with Festa to come up with this incredible product line, and what they literally believe is going to be every radon fan sold, moving forward, maybe 2 years from now. And so we believe that we've positioned our customers to have the best solution, and positioned our company to have the lead in this technology moving forward, because we started it now. And one of the things that I'll tell you, and fully understanding the price difference, if you look at some of the higher performance EC fans put out by our competitors, they're $350, $400. And you have introductory, Maverick level fans that are $300. One of the arguments that we made to EBM in our partnership was, we want these to be affordable to our customers. We're looking to make it in such a way that they don't cost, what's currently on the market. And they bought into that strategy. And so, we had an awful lot of assistance from them on pricing in order to make this affordable, because they took a really long-term view of this business. They believe this is the future. They believe that by them partnering with us, that EBM can be the leader of EC technology utilized in radon fans. And so they made concessions. They worked with us tremendously, again, understanding that, these cost more. they don't cost $100 more or $150 more. Um, and they could have if we didn't have such good partners willing to work with us to make this available to our customers and position them well for the future. And so, when I say that a lot of work went into this, sure, a lot of the work was with Intertech and electrical safety certification and different testing and exploring options. But it was also a lot of work in our partnerships, and trying to get them to buy in to our vision, and our vision for our customers, and our vision for the radon industry moving forward. And it's not it's not typical where everything comes together exactly the way that you hoped it would. This was one such case where everything came together exactly the way we hoped it would.
Daryl, there were a
Daryl, I'd like
couple.
to.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
Daryl, let me make a comment if you don't mind first, Ben. I wanted to get back a little bit to the additional devices. Daryl, I know you've worked extremely hard over the years on identifying fan failure characteristics, and I'm a little bit more informed than some people on some of the devices you've come up with. But my point is, correct me if I'm wrong, you've added additional shielding and bypasses for moisture and dirt, which are the two common reasons of fan failure. You've added devices to divert and to greatly lessen that problem, and that's exclusive to Festa. That's something no other manufacturer can purchase. Am I correct?
Well, so we've we've partnered, with EBM on things to make our fans different and better than anyone else's. And the thing that I've always talked about, and you know, as a manufacturer, I don't know, a lot of people consider it. Radon is one of the harshest applications imaginable for a fan or a product, right? And so if you think about it, there are lots and lots, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, probably tens of thousands of fans sitting outside in Minnesota in minus 30-degree weather. There's fans sitting in attics in Florida at 140, 150 degrees. They're getting rained on, sleeted on, snowed on. They're running 24/7. Anyone that's ever looked at one after it's been on a house, they're full of bugs and dirt. And, when there was a ladybug invasion and stink bug invasion, we see them with squirrels in them. It is a harsh, harsh application. And that, you can build something that you can warranty for 5 years and now 7 years and say, in spite of how challenging this is, we're confident that we've worked on a solution that is going to make it last forever. So, a lot of it's built in to the equation, right? That you're always going to have fan failures. There's going to be extreme cases where fans fail. It's just a reality. And we know that as a manufacturer, not every fan is going to last 5 years or 7 years. Dirt obviously is not helpful to fans. Extreme moisture, especially really dirty applications where you see a motorized impeller, the impeller that's totally encrusted with dirt and debris, and there's things wedged into the sides of the motor. It's going to spin out of balance, and if it spins out of balance, it's going to prematurely age the bearings. And so what we do is we look at the most common reasons for failure. We work with the engineering department at EBM. We say to them, the conversation was, we want to warranty these for 7 years. Can we be comfortable and confident doing that? And their engineering department dove into it. They looked at the solutions. They looked at the approach we could take. And when we bought in to what they were recommending to us, they said, you can warranty it for 7 years. Excellent. And so that was our process. We didn't just throw out there a 7-year warranty and cross our fingers that it works out okay. So yeah, this is, as a company, the most comprehensive strategy that we have put together to navigate this type of situation. And so yeah, I'd like to say there's no stone was left unturned. But I know Ben said you had some other questions. Well,
Yes. Yeah.
Well, you and I got engrossed in our conversation.
No, that's fine. That's what
Thank
we're
you,
here
Daryl.
for. So we've got everybody. We got a lot of new people that haven't joined us before, and so thank you for being here today. We've still got time for questions. We've still got some before Daryl passes out from the flu, but we definitely appreciate you coming today. If you have not been part of these, please absolutely join our Facebook group. It's a different one than you might be in, and that is we only allow radon professionals in that group. So you're not going to see any homeowners in that group. So feel free to ask questions that you would only ask in the halls of our conferences, and when you have the privacy to ask real good questions. And also, we do this every single Wednesday at this time. David and I kind of go back and forth. He'll spend a week answering questions about installs, mitigations, difficult to do mitigations, and then the other weeks I'm talking about business stuff. My company does marketing for radon professionals, so we build websites and help you get leads and things like that. So we're talking about ways to build and grow your business outside of how you actually do the job. So working in the business versus on the business, we're covering those every week. So we love having you guys here. It's really great to have a big group because it allows us to get lots of questions. Like for instance, Jordan Dunn, he was you kind of covered this. Will the EC fan change impact the current condensate bypass properties of the current models? And also another question was, and Avery did answer this, but is there a difference in the housing size on these? So if you were swapping out a fan, is it going to be an issue taking an AC fan to an EC fan?
Yeah, based on your typical system, it should not be an issue swapping out a regular fan for an EC fan. And again, it would be impossible to delineate every different EC model, but they're going to fit within the range of our existing product line. And so there's not going to be any bigger than what, our Eagle or Eagle Extreme are, and nothing smaller than our typical fans. And so this is going to fit very, very nicely in. As far as the resiliency, these EC fans are, more resilient than an AC fan. And so you're obviously not giving up anything in reliability or longevity. It's the exact opposite, that these fans are designed and the technology is such that they're literally, it was interesting as I educated myself on EC, it takes the characteristics of an AC motor and a DC motor and takes the best of both and improves on them. And so it's literally the all the best technology rolled into one, and it's getting better and better and better in what it's able to accomplish. When I look at the performance of some of these motors and how they do it using such little energy, it's astounding to me. And so, yeah, I can in essence say there's really no downside to the EC technology. There is a slight, price difference, but when you experience the technology and you look at the advantages and the benefits, I think it's a net positive to everybody's business. And if you implement it in marketing, the advantages, just, even if you say, I'm going to continue to use AC technology, but boy, it might be a great idea to offer it as option A, option B, and see how many homeowners opt to say, listen, that sounds well worth it to me, as far as it's quieter, it's better performance, it's going to have a longer warranty. That's a huge net add. And I think a lot of people will see that. I think consumers will be incredibly receptive to all these advantages that it offers.
I touched on this at the very beginning, but everybody needs to remember, most of you have my contact information, and I've got a direct line to Daryl. So if you have questions between now and say next Wednesday, throw them at me. Call me, text me, email me, and I'll get the real answer from somebody that knows more about it, meaning Daryl. And I'll give you the answers next Wednesday. We'll make part of the presentation, at least part of the presentation next Wednesday, for follow up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really great point. And so, David is about the most customer service oriented person you'll ever encounter, and it's one of the things that we bonded over all those years ago. So, we both have the philosophy that we'll bend over backwards for our customers, right? And so answering your questions, as the owner of Festa, I make myself available. If any one of you called my office and asked to talk to me, I jump on the phone and talk to you, and I talk to you for as long as you needed me to talk to you and answer any questions you have. And so, David's customers, I look at it as they're my customers. You buy your fans from him, you should buy your fans from him, but that doesn't mean I'm not available to you to answer any questions you have. And so any one of you can feel free to call us anytime, and I'll jump on the phone with you. I'll add that if I need to come back and do another one of these, and if there's a whole nother round of questions or people want to talk about it some more, I'm all for that as well. So I'm happy to do another one whenever it fits into David and Ben's schedule. And so whatever we need to do to make you feel educated and to have the answers and to fully take advantage of the benefits and sell the benefits to your customers, that's why we're here.
Excellent. Ben, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I want to give opportunity if anybody, I know people are throwing questions in the chat, but if you wanna unmute and jump on, if you got questions or things that you want to ask about, here's your opportunity. You've got the experts here.
Yeah, that's a really nice comment from Lawrence. We appreciate it. One of the things about this group that's on here and our customers in general, and one of the things that I think drives us is that, I guess I don't look at any of our customers necessarily as customers. I look at it as partnerships and friends, and we're here to help. And the one thing that I decided to be a long time ago is transparent, and I want people to have a window into the world of what's going on behind the scenes. I think that when they put their faith and their trust in us, they have the right to know what we're doing, why we're doing it, answer the questions, challenge us on why we made the decisions that we did. And so that's where having the ability to do this today and to really give them a window into kind of behind the scenes of what can transpire. This isn't real typical. I don't think a lot of people are afforded the advantage and the opportunity to know what goes on in the world of manufacturing, why we do what we do, why we're comfortable doing what we do, such as the 7-year warranty. And so I really appreciate the opportunity to answer those questions and also to share kind of our experience and why we did what we did, because this was a big enough deal in our industry that people need to understand what was going on and what led to these changes, and why we think that in the long run it's going to be a real positive. Again, this is something we were doing anyway, and we were well on our way into working into it, and it lit a fire and accelerated it for us and caused a couple months of stress. But here we sit with this really exciting new opportunity for our customers, and this what we think is a wildly good solution to a new standard. We're giving the best of both worlds. We're giving them the existing product that they relied on and depend on, unchanged in cost, and we're giving the latest greatest technology that's coming in 40% lower than what the industry ever offered them in the past. And so by us being forced to move fast, we came up with a really great solution, and I'm proud of that.
Excellent.
Good afternoon, Daryl.
Yes.
This is Steve Reichert in Minnesota.
Hey, Steve.
So I kind of took to heart you're working out in the cold, because we had 20 degrees below zero on Monday morning when I was on the job.
Yeah, no kidding.
Which is always fun.
Yeah.
You drop a piece of PCV pipe and it shatters like a wine glass.
I got to tell you, my heart goes out to you guys in Minnesota. I just can't even fathom working conditions.
So and you may know we've talked about this before, but I mean the majority of installs we do are internal or primarily garage attics.
Right.
So I'm obviously going to be just going to stock EC fans, I think, on a go forward basis. That said, what do you think? What's the standards committee, our regulators? We're licensed here in Minnesota. Where's Do they have an opinion? This is something they're going to check for.
I don't think they have
I think, I mean, we get all of our electrical inspected because we're, licensed and permitted for that. And I don't know if electrical inspectors are going to look past the plug.
I don't think our industry is particularly engaged on this.
Yeah.
I don't think the standards committee really wades into these waters. It's left to the manufacturers to accommodate and
Yeah, I think the standards is basically just to be compliant for its use. You know,
I think that's exactly right.
it's not.
My guess is, and I don't have any. My guess is that they wouldn't even be aware of this. That this was going on, and I think most radon fan manufacturers, the three of us, had our heads down, working hard to figure out the best path forward. I
Yeah,
think we all ended up different places, but it's interesting that you know. In Canada, for example, the fans go in basements, right?
yeah, yeah,
And I would venture to say that a huge percentage of the fans installed in Canada are EC technology already. They've really embraced it there, right? Um, but I thought that there might be a push because of this unattended areas situation to introduce the possibility of the fans uh, being allowed to be installed in basement and adopt the Canadian standard, but not likely. If it's based on common sense, then we're probably out of luck. So that would have solved that
yeah.
problem. But no, I would say that the standards committee aren't looking at this, thinking this, and probably don't have a grasp or an understanding of what this entails.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, our regulators are Department of Health, and their authority basically extends to what's written in the standards.
Yeah,
Um, and then a couple other things like, you know, if you're extending a circuit, that has to be done by licensed electricians.
right.
So yeah, I was hoping, uh, you know, if you wind up getting an audit and you have the wrong fan up there, it can be an
I
issue here. I'm just going to get ahead of it, I think.
yeah,
And I appreciate you. I've been hoping you would do EC fans in the Maverick kind of range for some time now, because they
yeah,
just the
it's
difference between an Eagle Extreme and an Eagle in terms of the waveform and the way the motor sounds. I think if you have that incremental improvement in both efficiency and kind of sound level and performance,
yeah,
$50 is a pretty good deal.
I think as we've gotten these and really worked on the range and looked at performance, looked at the models that they would correspond to, I have to tell you, I'm astounded at at what the technology accomplishes. I'm astounded when you look at the static pressure that they're pulling, and then you look at the wattage. It'll blow you away. I mean, it's just really shocking that you get that much performance at such low energy, and they are quieter just by design. The way that these motors are made, they're quieter, and so when you start building in all these advantages, it starts gaining momentum, right? And you know, whether it's a radon fan manufacturer, you say, I'm not going to invest a whole lot in old technology anymore because there's a freight train coming and it's all pulling everybody in this direction. But I think what we wanted to do was offer both, like not take something away from everybody, but also give a comprehensive line so that you had the full range of possibilities open to you. So yeah, I appreciate your words, and I appreciate that you recognize we were working hard for not only for ourselves, but we were working really hard for our customers to try to come up with something great.
Well, I'm looking forward to trying it. Yeah, appreciate your time today.
Yep, you're very
Yeah,
welcome.
you know what? I think one analogy you can make is like the difference between a carbureted engine and a electronically fuel injected engine, which is you're
it is.
burning
I
the
mean,
same gas, but it's a lot smoother and more efficient.
yeah, I think that when you improve anything, the ones that don't have the improvements kind of naturally go away. Someone was asking about the Patriot being EC, and we're in a discussion on Patriot being EC, but it would just be for performance because a Patriot fan, the whole advantage to it is it's an outside fan. It's a flush mount fan that, is aesthetic for the outside, and I won't say never, but there are going to be a lot of occasions where using a Patriot on an inside install would make a lot of sense. And so, from an unattended area standpoint, the Patriot being EC isn't necessarily important, but we may evaluate it from a performance standpoint and have an EC Patriot.
Well, we kind of come to the end of the line here, folks, and just a reminder, thank you very much, Daryl, for being on. I think all of us learned a lot. I sure did. I uh, uh, I think all of us have a pretty good feeling about the new fan now, and I think it's going to help me somewhat affect my order. But we're very grateful that you came on today. And Ben, you have some closing comments? Ben made
Yeah, I
Ben.
got to no, I had to unmute myself. uh,
Okay.
yeah, no, like I said, just appreciate everybody jumping in on this today. And we have this going on every week. And at this time, these videos, after we shoot them, are on the YouTube page. You can find them under the live tab on YouTube. And also they're always playing in the Facebook group as well. So absolutely jump on there. You can see all of our old videos and the things that we have. And if you're not, I know some of you came here through Daryl's email, constant contact that he sends out, his email list. But do make sure that you jump onto Dave's as well. Even if you're not a customer, we're sending out the updates on what the topic's going to be every week. And it has links to all the old videos as well. So I try to throw a handful of the old videos that you can watch on there. So
I have just a quick comment as well, Ben. One is I got so many questions that is this going to be available afterwards? They couldn't be on for this time, and I assured everyone that it was available, right? And so I think that it's great that people are going to have the opportunity to see this, even if they weren't available now. And I also want to say, I think to the people listening, this is such an outstanding forum for people to learn and to get questions answered and to have community for radon professionals, right? I think it's a lot of the time people that do radon for a living kind of feel like they're on an island, that you're not relating to a lot of people and you don't have a lot of people that are in your industry that you bond with and can talk to. And so this is a great forum. And I would make the offer that if someone makes a suggestion to Ben or David of a topic that I could contribute on, I'd be more than happy to come back because I think this is just an outstanding opportunity for people. And if the knowledge that I've gained over the lifetime that I've done this can be useful, and you have something that you would think I can add value by coming back, I would join you guys any day, anytime to talk about the things that are important to you. And so I think this is a great forum, and I'm thrilled to have done this today. It was my pleasure, and I'll come back anytime.
yeah, there's
Thank you
definitely
again, Daryl.
in this group we've got people who have done 100 installations, and we've got people who've done tens of thousands of them. And it's great to have both of those people and everyone in between, because sometimes we've got guys that have done thousands and thousands, and they will come across something new. And David says this every week. You guys call him individually and ask him the question, but there's such a great value to bringing it to this forum each week and asking those questions. That's why we do the Q&A more frequently than not. It's not that we just don't come up with a great topic at the very last minute and we make it a Q&A. That's 90% of it. But we do like the opportunity to have everybody throw in questions that can benefit everyone. I'll say when you go to a conference, and you should be going to your local stakeholders and the national conferences, you a lot of people learn more in the hallway than they do anywhere else. And it's when you're sitting down to lunch with somebody and you're able to ask those questions, and that's the experience we're trying to do here every week. So we're glad that you guys took some time out. We have tried a few different times. Right now, this is what the time that we try to do. I know some people have asked if we could do one in the evening every once in a while, or maybe first thing in the morning. We might try that. We try to keep it consistent as the goal, so that you just know that this is the time each week. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. Last chance. Anybody have a last chance question? Unmute, jump on. I got nothing at Facebook.
I wanted to add that last 7 days of our Customer Appreciation Month free manometer for every fan. So you're down to a week from Friday. Don't forget that if you're interested in buying fans.
And if you buy 100 fans, David will put glitter in the manometers. They sparkle.
That'd be pretty cool, huh?
Wouldn't it be great?
Yeah.
Let me just go over here and make promises.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll hand deliver them. He'll bring them. He'll bring them to you personally.
You
Yeah. 200 fans. He'll install them for you. Yeah.
Well,
All right,
thanks
guys.
everybody for being on board, and I'm going to go home and feed the horses and call it a night. And everybody, all of us in these cold climates, be careful on those roofs and on the side of those houses. Don't get hurt. It's not worth getting hurt.
Yeah.
I've got people calling me saying, "When do you draw the line?" And I'm like, well, first of all, the roads have to be safe. Don't be pulling a trailer or taking your work van out if you're going to get in a wreck. And don't get on a roof if it's not safe. Don't get on the side of the house if it's 20 below zero. Minnesota people and Michigan people and New York and other ones. But anybody,
Here too.
you guys have all got to be safe. Safe is the number one. You're not doing your customers any service if you do something unsafe.
Hey, I want to throw in a quick business tip since we're talking about how cold it is. First of all, you guys should absolutely be keeping track of all of your customers and have emails and everything else. When you see a real cold snap coming through and those fans potentially may shut off for a day or two when it's cold, send an email out to clients saying, hey, don't freak out. If you go downstairs, you see your manometers even. This does happen. You're not in any danger. But one of those things is it gives you an opportunity to get in front of your people. But what you can say is, hey, in 2 or 3 days when it warms up, if you don't see your fan kick on, give us a call. We want to come out and check that out. Or if you haven't checked on your fan in a while, just any of those opportunities that you have to interact with the customer and remind them that you were the one that did the fan, that they may have a squirrel in their fan and they haven't checked it in 3 years. So that's an opportunity. It's better to send that out than to take the calls. Hey, my fan stopped working. I had my father-in-law called me when it got down to 35 below zero. And he's like, hey, is your fan working right now? And I went downstairs and go, no, it's not. But the next day it was fine. Right. And so that's something that that you can get out in front and it's an opportunity to connect with people. So with your past customers.
Thanks again, everybody. We will see you next Wednesday afternoon if you're interested in checking in again.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you
Thank
very
you
much,
guys.
everyone.
Thank you, Daryl.
Thanks, guys.
No, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
We'll see you.